Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith of Smith in the Black. If it's usually on Monday, we do the Power Hour, but because of the holiday, it's a Tuesday. But we do it every week to make sure everybody gets up to speed as soon as possible. Obviously, we're in transition right now, so bear with us, doing the best I can to see what we can do to make everybody happy. And it is what it is, unfortunately. So, anywho, if you have questions, you can start typing them in. I'm going to go to the email first. Looks like we got a little bit of a skeleton crew tonight, but that's okay. Let me see here. First question. The days I struggle the most are during times of low activity. Yep. And you will say, if I didn't have to be here, I wouldn't be. How can you scan for this or measure this? Can I identify this within the first hour of the opening? Well, usually it's a matter of how many actionable signals are triggering in either direction, right? So, like today, we had early tech strength, we had energy weakness, and then the market just kind of sleeping in exhaustion, right? So, ideally, what we want, and that's why we look for simultaneous breaks, right? That's what we want. Anything else can be really fragmented, as you saw today, but that's why we look for simultaneous breaks. If you don't have one, so a lot of people will try and just pick out their two best stocks or whatever they want to do, right? But we have a much higher probability when we can identify a simultaneous break. And for new people, what that means is, I want to make sure I can get for for new um, for new people, what that means is a high concentration of signals triggering in the same direction, and that could be across the board in the market or the broader averages or sector specific. Like today, we had simultaneous break to the downside pretty much in all the daily energies, right? So that was telling you you probably wanted to do that, right? So there's that. So that's one way to identify it. Also, going into exhaustion, oftentimes that'll do it too. So you want to be coming back through previous ranges because we want to be stopping people out, right? We know that. So, and here's my email for you. If you can't make it, that's also, if you can't make it, you can always email the questions in. And like so. And also, another thing that we can identify is when we're stuck in the middle of ranges, right? Stock, like mother bar problems. That's another problem, right? When we have a lot of big mother bars that we're stuck in, that could lead to sleepy market too, because price discovery is starting over again. So that's just a couple of reasons why we look for the simultaneous break, because those are very hard to reverse, because that tells us that, oh yeah, there, I'll get the logo all the way. There you go. Here you go. um, and bear with me. I'm trying to monitor two of you guys at the same time. So that can do it. So let's get to the next question here. If you guys got questions, start typing them in. Otherwise, we'll have a short session, and I'll go not be here. Okay, next question. Okay, on the bigger time frames, is it common to just use whatever the previous bar has done? Let the previous bar be your guide for the next entry exit. In the bigger time frames, use the previous bar. Like, what's the next two? Sure, you can do that. We prefer the reversals, but yeah, so, as long as something's two, and then you can go down on the shorter time frames. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, 1 second. Just getting some good news for you. Okay. Also, can you show traded pins today using the 30s and 60s? Pinterest. Yeah, they said they can hear me. Uh, yeah, so pins. So Pinterest, well, here's your 60 reversal right here. Boom, 2-2 back down. Countering time frame continuity, but 60 is a major signal. And you could have tried to take this 60 back up. Just didn't go. So you just get out as soon as it comes back in there. And by that time, you're running out of day and you're kind of stuck in here. So you probably don't take that. If you go to the 30, you'll see this. 30, ooh, inside 30 triggers the 62 down right there. Boom. That's what you're looking for. So when you're starting off and you're just using 30s and 60s, one of the things you want to do is to have your universe, be it gappers or be it whatever, where you, right? So 20 minutes after the hour and 10 minutes before the top of the hour, right? Because then you would have seen this and said, what's this? It said right on the flip, if this triggers, what will that do? That's the next two. What will that create negate or do? That'll create your 212 reversal on the 30, and if that works, that would have triggered the 2260 for the ad, and that would have been your trade of the day, and you would have been done, and you would have been fine. So that's how you'd be looking at that Pinterest. And then if you get chopped up later, so be it. But you got the bigger chunkers, and that's what we're looking for. Okay. And from the old house, and then I'll get to you guys over here. BSKR. And BSQR. And so on the 30, yep, right here. By 1 cent, that's 2 down, 2-2 reversal right there. Yep, right there, exactly. And Baba. There's your two. Yep, that's a continuation, but it worked. And so is this. Die, Baba. Die, Baba. Yep, you can do those. And Shen. There you go. Your 2-2 reversal 30, and then your 2-1-2 for Let's Go the Other Way Country and Western. Yep, 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 yep. And in addition to gappers, I noticed that you have a large 30 or 60 bar out of the chute. Those are good candidates, right? So that goes along with what I'll say about time frame continuity, right? It's not whether you have it or not, it's how much you have. That means they're aggressive. They came firing. And that's why we do Strat Attack on Tuesdays, because I want to see the guys who did that on Monday and then come back on Tuesday. And hold on, now we're going to ignore the new guys. CTLT. Too late? No, just going inside month and up, and you got more range. Take these guys out. Not too late. Okay, let me get over to the other site. And let's see here. Get means just yelling at it. Now that I have a position, I want that thing to move. Get, boy! Shot mule! Okay, so for instance, today on SPY, tomorrow's likely to be an inside day, so, well, we don't know, but it's closer to doing that. So would that just be a no-trade area? Yeah, pretty much. You could watch, see if the 60 does anything, because the 60 is a major signal. Like today, if you just waited on the 60s, see here, you had on the 30 SPY, 2-2, bam, down, and then the 2-1-2 reversal 30 called the low. And then QQQ, that's why I ring the triangle. So if you're here live, here. If you're here live, 2-1-2. 60 is a major signal. So if you're brand new here, that's why you're going to hear me do this whenever the broader averages go inside on the 60. You got a 2 coming, right? That's something you'd want to know about. It's either a reversal or a continuation, but it's going to be something. 2's coming. And what criteria do I use to select the gappers? I don't. I just look for things that are moving around on the tape and then go from there. And then we look for more things. So There's no special secret sauce for those. Just things that are moving around. And oftentimes that's why I'll go through them at the beginning of the day and say, oh, it's not really a gap. It's an inside day after a huge range. So that's why I go through them to see what exactly are they doing. And what's the best way to handle mother bars? Okay. And what's the best way to handle mother bars? Like, should you wait until you take out the high or the low? I've noticed sometimes once the high or the low is taken out, it will just turn around and reverse. Yeah, and oftentimes what that means is that price discovery tried to get out of there and coming back through, and now you're going to go all the way back through. So what you're witnessing is the price discovery, right? And so it's when things occur and what's it doing on other time frames, right? Is that triggering does it form an inside week and then you're taking that out? Is it, what does that do with all the other time frames? And so that's why oftentimes you'll see like the price discovery will chop them up real good in the mother bar and then take out one side, but then come all the way back up. Yeah, that's still your price discovery. Yep, that's something we want to know about. Getting back in there, like get out and stay out. And new here to the strat, watching 4 time frames in time frame continuity, but do you enter only on the 60? No, you can enter on anything. And so intraday time frame continuity is going to be your 60, 30, 15, 5. Some people go down to the 3 or the 1. But I start people out on 30/60s because there's more than enough to do. And they take longer to set up, so it's easier to track down. But you can do it on anything. And that's why I put out the macro video. There's people who are working on the quarterlies and yearlies. Just set it and forget it. Or that helps you narrow down your universe and say, I just want I just want to stay on this one for the next 3 months. Like, so as I said in the vid tonight, I was like, you got Apple is inside quarter to the upside. That's good for 3 months. that's good for 3 months. Now you got some exhaustion once you take this out, but that's still good, right? So that helps you narrow down your universe too. Yeah, some people will avoid mother bars altogether. And I get this question a lot. And which reversals generally have more power? Well, the thing is, it's more of a factor of how many other things are going on. Because if it had more power, that's all we do. If we had one signal that was the most powerful, that's all we do. But I prefer the 2 2s and the 3 2 2s because it helps people gauge their magnitude real fast, right? You know where it's going. And the 2 2 is like a instantaneous bitch slap, is like I like to say. Everybody's going underwater right there, bam, right? So big fan of the 2 2 myself, but it's like I said when I talk about simultaneous breaks, it's more about how many are triggering the same direction than it is which setup it is. Okay, let me get back to the other side before I get too lost here. Bear with me. Uh, and I got to the criteria. That's not too late. Time frame, yeah. Futu would have preferred that to the downside. Really wanted that to roll down and keep puking. Go take out that mont. Take out that mont. Or as I like to say, the porch collapse. You take this out, everybody who bought Futu last month goes underwater. Everybody. Stupid. Set color bars based on previous close. I'm not sure what you mean, like candlesticks? And T-Doc. So T-Doc tight. See this here in the daily? There's your lower low and there's your higher high. Tight. She tight. So if you go down to your 60, you'll see this. take out some of these guys here, take that. So basically this is what it is right here. This is tight. That's why you're still inside month. Here's your bigger one up in here, higher high, lower low. But in general, this is tight. Lower low, higher high. That's it. These two are an outside bar of that, right? That's your triangle right there. She tight. And back to the sup, your friends. Stay in the 36s and drill down in the 15s, right? And Mike, been following a few months now, and I'm finding it easy to understand the strat in hindsight, but harder to see things happening in real time. That's why I'm here. I also know from following you, the market hasn't been doing anything for a few months. Any general recommendations? Stay on that 30-60s. 30-60 gappers, just like I pointed out on some of that stuff. And if there's nothing there, don't do it. Right? A lot of people are really impatient. That's an enemy. You got to wait for it to set up. Like that Pinterest was perfect. The 30-60, you're countering the daily, but 60 is a major signal, and it's the first day of the week, so that could change that. Right? So in Pinterest case, if that came down and changed this red, then these guys got real problems. Right? But that's what it would look like to start off, right up into there. And do gappers, good question, I get this a lot too. Do gappers normally follow time frame continuity? So oftentimes, a couple of the things you'll hear me say is exhaustion risk or coming back to the previous range, right? Coming back through the previous range continuity really matters. That's good if you have that, because you're going to be stopping people out. When you go into exhaustion risk, a new high or a new low, the daily and the 60 take precedent, because what that means is when you have exhaustion risk on a gap is, let's say, time frame continuity is a double-edged sword. If you have it for too long and you go into the highs, now you got a potentially crowded trade. Everybody who wants to be long is now long, right? Or the institution or the guys who are buying it up, they're done. That was their cleanup, the gap. Now call your customer and be like, I just bought you 200,000 shares and I'm done, right? And that might be it. So when you have exhaustion risk, the daily and the 60 really take over. But coming back to the previous range and you got some continuity, yeah, that's good. And if you enter on an hourly, do you set times on smaller stops on the smaller time frames? You can. It depends on what else is going on, right? Do you have more magnitude? And so if you're brand new here, one of the things we teach is magnitude. How far can you expect something to go if it works, right? Most people can't do that. We can, right? So if you still have magnitude, you can walk it up to slower time frames. So let's say like an Apple here in the longer time frame. So let's say you got in Apple, right? And it's chopping around a little bit. It was a little choppy, but let's say you got in an Apple and you're willing to take a 50% stop on this thing like that. Some people will do that. I prefer the really tight stops, but Sarah will teach you about that. But so long as it doesn't reverse, it's still good. This is still a 2 up. That's still a 2 up. This is 1, so it hasn't had a reversal against you, right? So you want to see, it's also depending on volatility. Like if things are really moving, you tighten those stops up, right? Going into exhaustion risk. And one of the reasons I preach the tight stop is because we know why something should occur. Most people don't know that. They'll have to give it some wiggle room. It's like, no, you don't. This should go. Why would this not go, right? We know guys are getting stopped out. We know we got buyers in there. Why is it not going? We have an unknown participant. I don't want to find out who that is. And so what you'll see, especially if you're new to the chat, is that in the strat, the good ones just go. And the analogy I use for that, it's like home run derby. You're going to have some foul balls, so be it. But once you get that sweet spot, it's gone, right? And then you can learn to add to it and to hold on, right? And do you usually let it break on the 60 and look for an entry in the 5 or 15, because breakouts rarely fly without retracing into the previous candle? Depends if it's a reversal or not, what else is going on, or my magnitude. But some people are a second mouse gets the cheeser. All right, now it's good. Now I wait for the triangle layout in the shorter time frame and then get in. Sure, I'm good with that. People do all sorts of things with the strat. So especially if you're brand new to this, people are trading this all sorts of different ways, and that's why, like during the day, I'm like, okay, everybody do this. Okay, everybody do that, because I know everybody's doing different things, right? And the good thing is about when you communicate with me, and I know what you do, I can point you in the direction of the other people are doing what you're doing, and I can call directly to you because I know exactly what you're doing, right? That helps. Don't be a wallflower, and don't lose. Like if you start losing money, you stop trading, right? You don't grind your account into zero trying to learn. It makes no sense at all. That was the best thing I ever did when I started trading. When I started to lose, I would stop, right? Because what I'm doing is not working. It's just not working. So you stop doing that and find out what it is, and then you come here and we figure it out. Talk it over and be like, tell me what you did. Here's the problem with that. I remember having fun with Sarah when she started, and because there's a couple things I'll say about any trade that you bring to me. I'd be like, there's every reason to believe that's going to work. Or the problem with that is, and the problem with that is doesn't mean you don't take the trade. You just might have a mother bar issue, you might have an exhaustion issue, something like that. And that's why some people, another thing, especially if you're starting out, I say this all the time too, you don't have to know it all, right? Just master one part of this, because you can branch out forever and go as crazy as you want, depending on who you are and what you can handle. And brought information on Apple. Well, Apple's going up into exhaustion risk, right? So you can hear there's lower low, higher high here, right, on your weekly, and it's just been stuck. So because it's been an inside quarter, it's going to be stuck in here, right, and have just micro tries, right? And so you can see that all this was an inside quarter, so it's just getting out of here, right? And so the question here is, see this, the lower low, there's your triangle layout. 3 months of boring them to death, and now going after that to get your higher high. Because one of the good things is you don't always have to see the broadening formation because it's not there yet, but we know that happens, right? And so what we're looking for is these guys to become an outside bar of all this, right? Because we know that exists. So oftentimes you see, like, I can see the bottom of the triangle, but I don't see the top. I'm like, you're about to. Here we go. And Neo. And Neo was last month's Rev Strat, right? That was Butte. Now you got a new month. And today, the hopes was outside bar, 322, just came back in, didn't go. So that was a problem. And it came back in. So you can see if it re-breaks out of this stuff, that'll still get my attention because this is still an outside bar, right? So that'll still get my attention. It's a matter of whether it can re-break this again. All it did was chop them up and triangle them out, right? Here's your higher high. Here's your lower low off the outside bar. Just couldn't get out of there. And then tried to go 322 back down on the 60, right? And that's why we trade less on the first day of the week, which is usually a Monday. I'm gaining information as time goes by. And why the strat attack is on Tuesdays. Be like, I want to see what did they do on Monday, and did they continue to do it on Tuesday, right? That's a good sign, right? That means somebody's active in there. And if they're going to be up 5 days in a row, got to be up 2 first. And so that's why you've heard turnaround Tuesday before, but it happens all the time. Every signal is going to be reconfirmed or negated by the next one, right? And that's why we want to see how close we are to the next twos, right? So we knew coming into this month, almost everything's closer to being a 2 up in the month, right? Except for the energies, right? And the trannies. But everything else, broader averages are much closer to taking out the highs, right? And we did, Q, SPY, not the diamonds just yet, but in small cappers we knew we were lagging by going inside weak. And let's see. Rob, to double check the point about narrowing universe to, for example, macro videos, are they just good for swings or day trades, 2 rising and repeating? Anything. Because the good thing about it, when you have those longer term signals, good things tend to happen. So when you get those setups, now you got a bigger batch of folks underwater and or buying. So and then also people will day trade it, and then if it works out, you can hold on to some and say, okay, I'm going to hold on to this part for swing because it's still good. So if you're trading Apple and you're still good, you can cut some of it, but as long as it's still profitable and quarterly up, there's your Apple position. Yeah. And let's see. And what about the overlap of the days of the new month into the weekly from the previous week? What the overlap? Well, each Monday, or in this case Tuesday, three of the four major time frames are starting over again, right? And so I want to be looking at who's closer to two and where, right? And then we uncouple on Tuesday usually. That's the first hour, the second hour of the week on Tuesday is the first time I can identify four separate participation groups by price and time. That's more information for us. And so Neo again, Neo on that 60. A mother bar is anything preceding a 1, right? So this is a mother bar, but it got out of there, down, sideways, puke. Right? Mother bar is anything preceding a 1, okay? So that's just kind of stuck in here. So you can see this. If this was also what's important to train your mind to be able to do, and don't overthink it, but you see this here. You see this and this. If this was a 2-hour chart, 120-minute chart, that'd be the mother bar with all this stuff, right? How are you going to get out of these things, right? And so once you get back in the middle of a range like this, you got problems, right? And for Futu, yeah, Futu just got stuck. Okay. And on the 30, yeah, so on the 30, you could have taken this for the reversal, just didn't go very far. And then you're going to get chop suey boy. All right. Spent the rest of the day in Mother Bar Land. But initially, yeah, you could have taken that 30 back up. I waved it off myself because you could try it. I waved it off. I want this thing to roll down and take that month out. That's what I want because you ain't turning this thing green anytime soon. Nope. I preferred the wipeout on this one and called it off. And do you trade the strat with options? Yeah, I'm trying to currently, but with weeklies or less, I don't add because you can get your face ripped off with a small time frame. Yep. So the good thing is you have Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with SPY and Qs. So that's a good thing. We want those close expirations, expiries. Yep. And looking at Boeing, chop suey. Yeah, here you go. Monthly mother bar, still in it, forever. So there's that. It still has, good enough moves every once in a while, to capture. You just got to be aware of that. But yeah, she's been chop suey for a while. And it's a little newsy. It can be a little newsy. And Kaz, I'll figure it out. We might do both tomorrow too. While we're moving people over, I got to talk to them. I haven't really had 5 minutes today. Was it a good time to hit VXX again? Well, you could have taken that 60. It's just dealing with a 2 day to the upside. We prefer some more puking. We get something longer term, like we've been waiting for forever, right? This was nice. You pop them up and then boom. So wait for a little bit bigger triangle day out. Aren't we technically inside a compound mother bar in some time frame if we're not in an IPO or all-time highs or all-time lows? You could say that. And that's why we're using all the signals. Saying maybe we are, maybe we aren't, but you'll see that price discovery, right? And so you can trade an inside bar in like a monthly or a quarterly, stuff like that, because there's so much time and there's so much room. You just want to be aware of it, right? And so we'll see how the price discovery is playing out and when it occurs. And because over time, things will line up, right? Price discovery will eventually broaden and we'll see it. And then if there's a reversal, we'll see it because we know what they look like, right? That's good. It's a good thing. We know what reversals look like. Most people come up with some idea that they made up. So mother bar, you can look at all time frames, but the bigger the range, like a monthly or whatever, the more you could do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have touched VXX here, but there you go. Triangle, yeah, bam. There you go. There you go. Bam. New week. Chick. Yeah, Neo just didn't go. And that's why we like that follow through on the second day of the week. Home Depot. Here's what we know about the Home Depot. Home Depot outside day now. We want to re-break this, right? Or the full blowout and really puke and give us a 3 now. But now we'll see if we get an inside day. You might get a 3-1er. And we also know that you can watch lows with it to see if that month breaks, because that's an outside 3-2-2 if that can take that. Little rough day today. And we also know that it's in ITB, so you can watch the ITB with that, which starting off as an inside month in the XHB. And Neo on the day. Well, here's your hammer daily. It's a 3-2-2. Now stuck in there. And for newer folks especially, that's why we look for simultaneous breaks, right? Simultaneous break, refiners today. Valero going out near the lows. Why? Because they're selling the refiners. That's a 2-2 month. HFC is inside quarter to the downside. All right. Valero. I just do Valero and MPC. You see how these things all went out near the lows? They're selling these things across the board. Right? That's what we look for. As opposed to trying to nail it down to my favorite one stock. I want to see what groups they're doing, because that tells me that institutions are selling them across the board. It's not company specific. It's sector specific. That's something you'd want to know about. That's how you see what the big boys are doing. They show their hands. If I come C, well, yep, might shoot her back through this stuff. And so, like I said, when you see this real tight chop shop in here, oftentimes price discovery starting over again. So here, stop out the shorts, and now boom, take this baby right back down. Sure. And your higher high. Yeah, baby, give me that lower low. There you go. Now puke. Then yell at it and tell it to puke. And that's why when you, like today on the strat time report, oftentimes I'll show you the scanning. I can tell you what the market's doing without even pulling up a chart, right? And if I see all that energy taking out last week's lows, that's something I'd want to know about. That's your problem. Oh, you got a drop of oil? Yep. Sell. Exxon peak, right? And we go to the gappers because we want volatility. We want things because there's a shock to the system, right? So let's say you're long or short something that's gapping up. The long guys don't have to do anything, but if it starts tanking on them, they're gonna run, right? That's where you get the gap in reverse when guys see their huge gap evaporating on them, right? How do you make money consistently? Trade the strat, 30-60 gapper list. One can make a very good living doing nothing but. The 60-minute rev strat takes 3 hours. You don't miss those. That's the good part about that. And that's why, we talk about continuity too. Say the Coop. Coop was that a 3-2? Yeah, 3-2 up on the monther. So this rejection is still good. And you can see how bright green this is. Bright greens tend to get bright greener. And then you just wait for a triangle day out. See? 2 up, 2 down. Boom. These guys become an outside bar of that. See? Because we know outside bars exist. Triangle day out. Get, boy. And so Johnny John was in the vid tonight. I'll show you why it is. What do we know about Johnny John? Well, it's an inside day for one. Now, if it works, let's say it takes the upside. What will that create negator do? That'll potentially be going after the 2-2 month here, right? So what can we watch with this? Can watch the Dow Jones because it's in there, right? Dow Jones got a good chance at an inside day. That's no good, but you got XLV here, inside day as well, right? So I want to see how if they come after all the XLVers, right? That's something we'd want to know about. Simultaneous break in the XLV. Because the good thing is, like, when you have a simultaneous break in the broader averages and everything, what you'll see is when the futures completely take over, and that's usually a downside, all the charts look the same. That's a good thing. Like when you had pandemia, almost everybody a year ago March was a 2 down. You're not turning that around, right? So anybody who's trying to bottom pick that was getting killed. Everybody. And how do you recommend playing gappers? Are you more favorable to gap and crap or gap and go? I'm personally a gap and crapper kind of guy, but they can keep going. Like I said, do you have any more magnitude? Are you going into exhaustion risk, or are you coming back to a previous range? So if I'm coming back to a previous range, I want that thing to keep going because it's going to stop them out. Stop people out. And what that does is it removes liquidity. So what that means is when you're coming back to a previous range, let's say you took out some recent lows and you're coming ripping back through, and um, you have full time frame counting to the upside, you're also going to be stopping people out because we know where people's stops are. They told them do it either even once they're profitable or well-known pivots. So let's say I'm a program, and you have to tell a program four things. What do you want it? What vehicle do you want it in? Apple, SPY, whatever it is. Do you want it to buy or sell? How do you want it to do that? By taking the offer, staying on the bid, or hitting the bid, or staying on the offer. And when do you want it to do it? So we know when you have full time frame continuity to the upside, any automated trading, we know what they told them to do. They told them SPY, they told them buy, they said take the offer and do it now. Right? Now, when you tell a machine to do that and you start stopping people out, it removes liquidity, which makes it go faster. That's why you want that. Why am I a gap and crapper? They can be vicious. The gap and crappers can be vicious because if it's going to be an outside bar, it would have to start as a two up or down now, wouldn't it? Yep. We like that big, nice, long red and green bar. So it's a potential failed two, go three. So, and depending how far that crap is, that can be a nice move, and it can be real fast. Like Neo Thursday puker. So there's another thing I don't talk about too much. I'm going to be rebuilding a lot of this stuff, the course and all that kind of stuff. But this is called a continuity entry, and it's very important. And not everybody's going to do it, right? But it's important to know it. You see on the 60 here, you'd be like, "Oh, I don't have a signal yet." But continuity says gaps up, runs a little. You see this here, and as soon as that goes red here, you can whack it and be like, "Now she's a red day." And if that works, going outside. And if that works, it might keep going. And it did. Right. So you get that guys who are up big, now watching them turn into losses. Panic City. Panic City. Well, that's called a continuity entry. You can do that. Just whack. Bam. But you can be pretty fast, and you might probably want to have hotkeys and not be pointing and clicking on that. And SPY has just been exhaustion risk forever. Forever. We haven't had a two down since that March. Sucks. But you deal with it. You deal with it. Futures, anything that moves. Anything that moves. So yeah, the gap and crapper is exhaustion. Everybody wants to be long is now long. Anybody want to buy any more? No. Ticky profy turning into panic selling. Some people will watch the volume. I don't. It usually tends to show up. But if you're doing something that works, just incorporate the strat. Don't completely change what you do. Just use the. I like to say, if you're a successful trader already, strat puts you on steroids because then you know why you're successful, as opposed to those guys who are dripping sweat even though they're good. It's a white knuckle day every day. PDD. There we go. That's a nice 312 puker. Fick. That's always my favorite. Tesla was in Strat Attack Show, which I haven't posted yet. Make sure I don't forget that. Tesla, and I talk about Tesla. It's like here, you see how tight range everybody's like it's coiling. Usually, more often than not, when you get something in a real tight range, the price discovery's starting over again because you got guys here who think they're buying a breakout and getting stopped out, right? And then boom, back to the previous range. Now that all your shorty boys are gone, and all that's left is long guys. Bam, stop them out. And so now you have your T-Islers broadening formation. These two are an outside bar of these. right? And you're 2 down on the month, on the week now. Still inside in the month, but you took it up and then came back in. Your potential 1 bar rev strat month now. Get nailed on that? Yep, we know that one. We know that one. It's one of the great things about relating this to newer people here. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about because it's happened to you a million times. And as I like to say, yep, we know that one. We know that one. Yep. That's what we call triangle layout. Price discovery is how price action works. Everything will work in a continuous series of price discovery broadening formations. So if you go like the SPY, and they get bigger, thus the name. So that's why you're usually getting chopped up. You're trading too tight of a triangle of the broadening formation. You need that baby to grow. I'm like here, these guys are getting murdered in here, dude. These guys are getting murdered in here. Still pretty bad. And then boom, stop them all out. 2-2 reversal, and off she goes. Today was the first lower low. This was a slight lower low by a few pennies right on the opening, but that was it. Ever since then. So when people say, can you swing trade the strat? Yes. Shut up. Boom. Just got to wait for the try to get bigger. And so you can go back to here. We knew about this during pandemic. This. We knew about that for sure. Right? So when this cratered this guy, we were looking to take out all these guys. And the proper way to draw it is actually going back to one of these, because all you're really doing is creating an outside bar. Right? So these 2 months are an outside bar of all this. And then this was the mother bar of this, right? However, when things occur matters. This was a year ago in April. That's a new quarter. Boom. Now, now you had full-time frame continuity upside and your quarterly's green. So just like you're going to see this, you're going to see this in everything. Once you see the broadening formations, you're going to see it in everything, right? It happens here. It happens on the monthly. And so oftentimes when people are getting chopped up, if the triangle's too tight, it needs to grow. And that's why mother bar is a problem, because it's just starting over again. We need people to get screwed. We want to trade against people in losing positions. And can you do that with VXX? You bet you can. You bet you can. And right, it ain't clothing, bro. There's people getting murdered in there. There's people getting murdered in there. That's a hellhole. And talk to new people how important the flip is. Yes. So the bottom of the hour we call the flip. It's like a new day to us. Yeah, the continuity entry in the VXX. Oh, you definitely can do that. So it's like a new day to us. So we're always watching the continuity and we're always watching the signals. So with the QQQ, here you had your 2-2 reversal on your 60, and then it followed through the next hour. Then you had a new hour, big mother bar though, but then 2-1-2, just like that monthly I just showed you on SPY. You're going to see this repeat over and over and over again. And that was your reversal of the day for the Qs back up. 2-1-2 and back up. And so you'll notice here the flip, the starting of the day, bright green, new hour, puke, new hour, continue puke, new hour, green, new hour, reversal, right? So that's something you'd really want to know about when we talk about the flip, and that's why you're going to hear this when I do this and say QQQ inside the 60. You got a 2 coming, boy. It's something you want to know about. When you explain it, learning strat is so simple and easy. I wish I was executing my trades better. That's why you come with me. That's why I'm here. And that's why you'll hear me say that once you think in strat terms, I become the world's greatest assistant. I'm doing all your research. I'm monitoring your trades. I can find you more. I can help manage it for you. Another thing I like to say is I can fix anything. I just got to know what I got to fix. Right? The worst thing is getting emails of people who never post and, well, I just couldn't strat. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. You know, like, how can I help that? But that's why we do this, so I can help you. Happy. Uh, July 2nd? Yeah, Tesla, yeah. But this is why you get out if it doesn't go. That was a 2-2, yep. But then you hit exhaustion. So when this thing went 2 down, 2 up here, the, here was the target, right? That's where we're gonna go. That's our exhaustion. It's gonna take these guys out. Then we don't know. Then we could have used some help. So we were trying to go inside and up in the month, but this is why you don't want to know your exhaustion risk. Once it takes that out, I want to stay up there. Otherwise, this could happen. But if it stays above that, you're still good, right? And so that's another thing I help people do is stay in their winners. Be like, what are you selling for? And it's still good. Like, oh, sometimes they reverse on me. I'm like, yep, but we know what that looks like, and it's not doing that. So stay in. It's still good, because when you're in a winning position, you don't have to do anything. If you're in a losing position, you got to do something, or it gets worse, right? If you're in a losing position, you got to cut it right away. Otherwise, you're gonna have guys adding to it and getting murdered, or guys ignoring it and really getting murdered and selling on the bottom. But if you're profitable, you don't have to do anything except move that stop. This is recorded, yes. Everything I do is recorded. And now on the new platform, I think the entire day is recorded. So you'll have everything. You can go back to any day if you're not bored enough. But the good thing is you can capture some of them rock'em sock'em robot days. I'll post it on my YouTube as well. Well, my pleasure. Was a tight stop? 1 cent below the bid when I bought it. Then I yell at it and tell it to get. Via email, Twitter, here. Ask me here. Like I said, 1 cent below the bid when I buy it. I have it all recorded, so we're still working on what's going on over there. Well, LA from New York, the thing about it is that we expect it to go. Why would this thing not just go? Right? Most people don't know that. We do. Here's where they all go underwater. And Nathan, I'm working through things. I say yes, so I'm just trying to get through this day. Give us this day our daily strat. Capture the chat bar. That I don't know, but let's say that these guys are real open to anything that we need, and we're just obviously there's a lot of kinks when you try and put a shop together in a week. So of course I like to support the military and would like to continue that discount. There you go. Strat life changing. All right. My next goal, better discipline, not chase. There you go. I try to be one of the good guys. That's right. Using options is a little tougher. Depends on which ones you're trading. So oftentimes, like Sarah, like if you're taking an inside bar, she'll say give it 50% of the inside bar. And the reason she'll say that, not necessarily with options, because in options you really want to know how to capture the magnitude. Because what it's going to do, like here, if you have these options, once it hits this, she's gone. It's like, I don't care if it keeps going. It hit my magnitude. And so you'll see gamma spike. Yay, gamma spike. boom, sell into it, right? As soon as it breaks above this, gone, right? And then theta burn, smoked, if you will. If it takes off without you, get back in. We call that doing battle. You're going to get stopped out. It's when you don't. Like I said, it's home run derby. Once you get a hold of one of these babies, it's gone. And we know how to stay in. It's still good. Most people chicken out and be like, some people freak out with winners as much as losers. Because they don't have many of them. And like I said, we're expecting it to work. We have reasons why it's going to work. Right? We're not just eyeballing it subjectively. It looks like inverted head and shoulders. No. It's stopping these guys out, and they are buying it by taking the offer. Why would this not work? Make sense? So we have a lot of evidence when something's going to work. On the monthly chart, I always want to stay positive. So you might get stopped out on the monthly chart. You can just let it go. As long as you're positive, I don't care. You better luck tomorrow. Well, the thing is, if you're doing something that's not working, don't do it. There's a reason. And so that's what I'm here for, to explain what winners and losers look like. Losers look like this, getting chopped up in a 1, fighting a 2, getting destroyed in a 3, and fighting time frame continuity. Winners look like this, favorable 2, 2 going 3 with continuity in your direction, right? That's what they look like, and continuity in your direction. That's what they look like. So you can go back and look at all your trades, and you'll see exactly why you win and why you lose. You had to have some continuity to win. Had to. Even if it's a 1 minute. Let's say this has been an interesting day trying to monitor 2 chats at the same time. Even though I do Benzinga 2, I said 3. But we're winding down here. Old salt tray, there you go. I deal with opening run-ups in ultra short time frames. Yep, sure is. Just not everybody's cut out for that. And as we finish off here, I've got some good news. I've been requested to sign off with this. For all my annual subscribers coming over to Sepia Group from any other platforms, we're going to be honoring your full subscription through to the end. Be on the lookout for an email for our team to set up with a personal promo code to redeem your remaining months. How about that? All you got to do is ask. All right, well, this concludes the very long day. And if you're waiting on email, please be a little patient with with what's going on. Obviously, you can see there's a lot going on behind the scenes here. I will post this on my YouTube as well, with the Strat Attack is already up. I'll also post it on the old Ticker Talkers, and maybe throw a link here into the chat here at Sepia, and then I'm going to go home. All right, so all right, welcome new folks especially, and we'll see you bright and early.